In California, several wildfires are still raging in and around Los Angeles, threatening some of the most popular tourist spots in America's second biggest city. Over 100,000 people were ordered to evacuate as strong winds keep spreading the flames that have burned thousands of acres so far and destroyed hundreds of homes. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass described the devastation as staggering.
This firestorm is the big one. These are hurricane force winds that are combined with extremely dry drought conditions. To provide context, at 10:20 a.m. yesterday, the Palisades fire was at 10 acres. 12 minutes later, it was at 200 acres. More people may get evacuation orders, and if they do, please leave immediately.
Los Angeles correspondent Wassim Cornet is covering the fires for us. He gave us the latest.
Governor of California yesterday, Gavin Newsom, said it's not so much a fire season anymore. Fire season no longer exists. It's fire year, all year round. And unfortunately, that has been a reality over the past 5 years or so. Over the past 2 winters, we saw a very wet winter. So thankfully, we were out of the woods, and much of California escaped any significant fire damage, at least over the winter season. But we have not seen any significant rain in Southern California since at least last May. We went through a very hot summer. And of course, because of those previous 2 wet winters, vegetation has grown almost out of control. And so obviously, with the drought these past few months, that has dried all of that vegetation, and it's just been a tinderbox for the past few months now. And obviously, with this extremely violent windstorm, wind speeds not seen in this part of the country in many, many years, that was just a recipe for disaster. There are currently 5 fatalities. We are all hoping that that number does not rise. But even if just in terms of areas affected, people under evacuation orders, and the number of properties and structures damaged, this is shaping up to be one of the worst disasters in California history, if not the United States' history. And so it is perfectly understandable that that both state authorities and federal authorities are being called into action right now. There is a state of emergency. Schools are being closed. Obviously, resources are being directed. Thankfully, Northern California has been seeing a lot of rain these past few months. So resources in the past week or so, in anticipation of this extremely high fire danger, many resources, fire trucks, fire crews have been dispatched from Northern California to this part of the state in anticipation. But unfortunately, this was just unpredictable almost to have a disaster of this magnitude. I believe it was earlier today, this Wednesday, that an official from the county of Los Angeles said that the county was absolutely not prepared for a disaster of this magnitude.
President Joe Biden canceled his final overseas trip just hours before he was set to head to Rome and the Vatican. He's now staying in Washington to monitor the response to the devastating fires.